When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Life is too short for long-term grudges. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. I think there should be regulations on social media to the degree that it negatively affects the public good. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. The future of humanity is going to bifurcate into directions. Either it's going to become multiplanetary or it's going to remain confined to one planet, and eventually there's going to be an extinction event. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. We can't have, like, willy-nilly proliferation of fake news. That's crazy. You can't have more types of fake news than real news. That's allowing public deception to go unchecked. That's crazy. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated. No question. But I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead. Other times it will be behind, but brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. Self-driving cars are the natural extension of active safety, and obviously something we should do. I think we are at the dawn of a new era in commercial space exploration. A company is a group organized to create a product or service, and it is only as good as its people and how excited they are about creating. I do want to recognize a ton of super talented people. I just happen to be the face of the companies. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, your job is going to be quite miserable. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness, to make sure it continues into the future. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. Tesla is here to stay and keep fighting for the electric car revolution. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future, and wondrous new technology where you see it. And you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? The problem is that at a lot of big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. You're encouraged to behave like a little gear in a complex machine. Frankly, it allows you to keep people who aren't that smart, who aren't that creative. If we drive down the cost of transportation in space, we can do great things. If you don't have sustainable energy, you have unsustainable energy. The fundamental value of a company like Tesla is the degree to which it accelerates the advent of sustainable energy faster than it would otherwise occur. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water. And he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out. I think you should always bear in mind that entropy is not on your side. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. To make an embarrassing admission, I like video games. That's what got me into software engineering. When I was a kid, I wanted to make money so I could buy a better computer to play better video games. Nothing like saving the world. Great companies are built on great products. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, nah, what's wrong with a horse? That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment.